So I just want to tell you people who are Gen Xers that the world you're seeing is not anywhere close to being the world that you should be growing up in. Because the world you should be growing up in should have free food growing everywhere, where you can just walk up and take it and eat it. So someone was saying that there are no female trees. Well, when I was growing up, I'm just going to name some of the trees that we would walk by and freely grab the fruit off of it, wipe it on our shirt, eat it, and keep going. Crab apples, crab apple trees. So apple trees. So there are all kind of apple trees, but apple trees was one of the biggest. They were everywhere. Orange trees. Uh, I think I came across a few of them. Pear trees. Yeah. So we were able to see pear trees everywhere. So that was a big one. Berries, they grew on bushes. Blackberries, yeah, yeah, yeah. They grew everywhere. We were able to walk. We were able to just go by and just. You were able to forage without going into the jungle or anything. You'd just be able to walk down the street in the city and see a tree and walk over and pick something. If it was an apple tree, you when you bit into it, you were looking for the worms. So you were hoping that there were no worms in it. And if there was, you would take it out and bite around it and get rid of the part that wasn't any good. So, like I said, there were several different type of apple trees that were out there. I haven't seen one in years. Like I said, pear trees were everywhere, and there were different type of pears that grew on the trees, and we would just take those things and they would be just as sweet and good. And oh my goodness! Another thing we would eat is honeysuckle. It's a vine, and it grew everywhere. It's a wild vine. It grew everywhere. Uh, Maple leaves. So we would make tea out of that. Also, we would get honey, and also we would get syrup out of a maple tree. So we were able to just walk up to a tree and tap it, and then do a couple cook it or whatever, and then boom, you have syrup. Uh, so we'd have fresh maple syrup. We were able to do that. So yeah, these are just some of the things that nature just gives you. That yeah, potatoes too. Uh, all kind of herbs and spices. They were everywhere. You'd just be able to walk up and just you knew exactly where to go to get them. Mushrooms. So you knew you had to know which one was which, but yeah, you can right there in the hood. There was mushrooms. You know, particular ones you had to go out in the forest and look for them, but yeah, you could do that because there were still grassy places in the hood, and on the block, there was still plenty of trees, plenty of trees. You could just walk out and be like, "Oh, this is what I'm looking for." Of course, we fished, and crayfish and all that other kind of stuff. But yeah, there was a lot of food that was free, and you would just go get a fishing pole or something and go down to the nearest whatever, and you didn't even have to have a fishing pole. You could make one, just a stick, some wire and a hook, and grab some worms out of the ground, and boom, next thing you know, you got a carp or something, you catfish, or you catch some bluegill was common, you know, very common fish, bluegill. So there's a lot of that that was just there for us to eat, and we ate it. It wasn't a lot of hoopla out of it, You get some bread and boom, and there it was. And that's how a lot of poor people would eat. was just time.